Hello everyone. I'm very excited when I'm starting this video. I did not leave my desk for the last 8 hours and didn't sleep last night. I was so excited about trying Fable 5 by Anthropic, the new model. And the most curious I was about is how to compare it with Opus 4.8, GPT 5.5, DeepSeek, Grok, and other models in order to understand those minute parameters. Those are there. For example, if it is taking 2x cost, right, or it is taking 2x time, what are the things that is emphasizing on that I was doing? So I built 5 different applications using all the models and at the end compare it with Fable 5, the new model by Anthropic. So I'll be sharing one of those in very depth. And before I get started, I want to talk about this. So when I was preparing for this video, what I did is I prepared this particular landing page to explain you everything about this, right? That I can share. So mostly I wanted to talk about Opus 4.8 and Fable 5. And I came across all these parameters and so on, but I genuinely feel it never helped anyone to actually visualize where the model is good at, what it can do, the real implementation use case, and so on. So I will come to this later. The first thing that I'm doing when getting started is simply taking this prompt that I have created by for building a fake desktop operating system. So you might be using Mac or Windows or Android, whatever, right? Any of these, all of these have some operating system that run in a device. So if a model can build it end to end with this perspective in mind, with the basic crisp detail that we are giving in, that can be a great judgment parameter for us. So the first thing that I'm doing is I also wanted to share this. We have came a very long way when we talk about when ChatGPT launched to till date. So first thing that I'm doing is going back to the roots and trying GPT 5.5 for this prompt, and I will be giving this prompt to GPT 5.5 and see what it will build. Then we'll come to Opus 4.8. Then we'll come to Fable 5. We'll be doing this, then we'll be comparing all of the different use cases, the amount of token it is using, the amount of time it is taking, and so on. So let's get started. I'm copying this prompt, and before copying, I can just quickly explain you what we are trying to do here is we are asking uh, to build it a fake desktop operating system that ran entirely in the browser. And it should be a single file, single HTML file, and can call it NovaOS. It should have all these things. Importantly, a note-taking app, a working calculator, a MS Paint, a music player, and a game. It can be a snake game or any game. It depends on that. Then we have described how the UX should work, and there should be no external images, etc. And I've copied this, and let's take it to GPT 5.5. So in this, you can see I'm in ChatGPT. I'm not using any codecs or Claude code or anything like this. I want to be keep it very simple because the goal is to visualize and deeply understand the difference between the models, right? So I have pasted this, and you can see that this is the same prompt that we have copied from there, and I'm putting it here. And before that, I want to tell you the time. You can see this is 10:19 a.m. Right? So now let's see how much time will it take. We have given the prompt and it started analyzing the same. So you can see no any planning, no any context setting. It just directly started writing the uh, Python code for this. You don't need to do know any kind of coding, but just to help you understand what it is doing. So as soon as we have given a prompt to GPT 5.5, it didn't do anything. It just start writing the code directly. It might have done some kind of context setting in the backend, but it didn't show us. And you can see in less than 1 minute, it didn't even take 1 minute. And you can see the output is here. And either we can download this file or we can run this. So instead of running this in the running this separately by downloading, I'm simply using this file that is given by GPT 5.5. I clicked on the full screen, and you can see this is the virtual operating system it created that is running in the browser only. So you can see there are these functions that we have. This is a timer. This is the name of the operating system. It is a very flat background, not animation, not any kind of thing. I cannot change that also. And when I click write, I can see it is letting me create a new node. So I create a new node. I don't know, is there any way to save it, close? I can just close it, but there is no way for me to save it. Every time it is creating a new node, When I'm talking about the calculator, it is working fine. When I'm talking about the paint, it is also working fine. You can see I can change the color, but you can see there is a very limited thing in the MS Paint. I cannot save this. I cannot create an image out of this. I can pick the color. That is the only option that they have other than changing the color. Again, I cannot save this. And when I'm talking about the music, you can see I can play a track. Play music it gave me. I was not able to pause it also, so I have to close the window. And the last thing is the game that they created. So in the game, I don't know where the snake went, and also I'm not able to see where the particular thing that the snake ate. So it's an incomplete game to be very in a very simple manner. I want to say this. So I'm playing this, but it is not even having the game over a screen. So when you see this, this is a very, very basic version of operating system that as I expected out of GPT 5.5. So we have seen Notepad, we have seen the calculator, Paint, music, and Snake, and there is nothing, anything else about this, right? So I'm closing this. In less than 1 minute, it created this. Now I'm going with the same prompt to Opus 4.8, right? So you can see here I am having Opus 4.8 and I pasted the same prompt. Before I execute this prompt, what I want to do is I want to go here and show you the session. To current my session, I've started a new session and there is 0% used. That is the first important thing that you can note, because after completion of the execution by Opus 4.8, we will come back to it and see how much percentage of the session it used. First thing. Then the second thing what we'll do is we'll also see the time. So currently it is 10:22 a.m. I'm executing this prompt. This is the exact same prompt creating operating system, exactly same what we have given to GPT 5.5. We are giving it to Opus 4.8 because this is one of the important model before Fable 5. It is also saying for complex task, right? And I'm considering this is a complex task because it require a lot of background planning in the background to make sure you're able to give a great UX and UI experience and the functionality part as well. So when I clicked on this, you can see it is getting executed, and I will highlight the one very important and major difference between GPT 5.5 and Opus 4.8. You can see there is a lot of background planning and skills going on in the backend. So you can see this is a big fun build. Let me start by checking the design skill, then build NovaOS as a single self-contained HTML. That is what we asked for. Now, when you see the architecture that is happening behind, first I'm clicking on this file. If you might have understood what are skills, you can watch other videos for that. But there is something called skills in the Claude, and you can see this is a skill file. This is a front end skill that is getting used by Opus 4.8. I will again highlight the same in Fable 5 as well. They both will use the same skill file, same front end skill file, which I opened by clicking on this particular thing, just to highlight that it is a default skill file that is used by all the models that are being present in Claude or Anthropic family. So a lot of planning is going on. I've enlarged the font size as well to show you this. You can see the user want to complete this thing. It is doing a planning, talking to itself in a way that it can build the end-to-end thing that we are asking for. So it have discussed all the things here. It is still planning and somehow building the architecture about what to build, how to build, what it should be having, what it should not be having, and so on. So we'll see. You can see this is a probably 1500 to 2500 lines code that nowhere was done by GPT 5.5. This is a major jump from GPT 5.5 model to Opus 4.8 model. Here you will again see that after doing a bunch of discussion, it came up with some conclusion here. When you see this particular part, you can see there is a lot of thing that was going on in this part, that it did a bunch of thing. It is rewriting because it is getting rendered again and again. And at the end, you will see the final approach that it decided. And now it is about to write the script to run the same. So it will take about few minutes. So this is 10:25 already. It already took 3 minutes, and I will resume once it's complete. Then we'll talk about it more. So far, it already spent around 12 minutes on the building part. It is still building. I think it is about to finalize. That's why I resumed the recording. You can see the time is 10:34 a.m. now. And when we talk about the consumption of the tokens, it almost consumed 49% of my entire single session, and it is about to complete this. It also required to compact the conversation that I had with the Claude so far. So I gave this prompt. Then it was trying to do a bunch of things. The first is trying to individually build all the app that we ask it to build in the operating system, and then writing the JavaScript structure, is styling of this, then animation of the same, and finally doing the final HTML injections or HTML thing, whatever it required to finish this. So I'm waiting for it to complete very quickly. So it can see it is saying all three sources files are present. Let me quickly verify this and about to finalize. So I think if we wait for 1 minute, it should be done. Otherwise, I will pause again. Why I wanted to resume is to just make sure that it is that extensive task that even the closest model, the top model so far of Opus, required almost 13 minutes to complete this. So we'll see how much time the Fable 5 model will take. So it is confirming this, it is running the command. And the great part that I was able to observe when I was going through all these messages is it was taking care of every single thing that is a dimension of the icon, right from the margin, padding, how does it look on hover, how it should behave, and a very, very small details that was entirely missing on the last model that we used, that is GPT 5.5. Yeah, so this is there. It finally created everything, validate a single 82 KB self-contained HTML file, and I'm just waiting for that artifact to see so that we can start using this. Else we'll download the HTML file and of this whatever it will provide us. So this is the amount of work that it done. I think it must have required more than 4 or 5 engineers and couple of weeks to finish this end to end, right from planning, execution, debugging, testing, and a bunch of other things that are involved there. And one more important thing, when we pick the coding task, right, because all these companies are emphasizing on coding talent of these models, coding efficiency or capabilities of this model, because they feel that is the place where they can make most of the money. So this is also justified in that way that we have given them a very coding heavy task. And also when we talk about Fable 5, when we are going through the X.com tweets and everything, we notice that it is not allowing any kind of biological question. I will come to that when we are talking about Fable in few minutes. So this is ready. If you see on my screen, after this much of hard work and almost 15 minutes, 16 minutes it took. And now finally this is ready. We have used Opus 4.8 here. And in the next part, we'll be using something called Fable Anthropic, which we all are super excited about for the very same task. So here, if you see my screen, the NovaOS is ready. And when you compare it with GPT output, right, you can definitely, in a single view, you can understand the difference of the quality. So I'm using the first application here, or before that, I'm just starting with the right click. I have all the application that are available in this dummy operating system. New note, open setting, change wallpaper, tidy window, close window, about move, and all these things, right? When we see here, it was nothing. So it was not well planned, right? And when you see the OS or UX of this particular operation, this is such a nice thing. This is such a crazy. You get the vibe, right? That's we talk a lot about taste in the AI. So this is one of the example of that. So here I'm creating a note. I built this using Opus 4.8 model. And you see, I'm not sure if this can be saved, but this is already saved here, and there is no option for any of these here in the GPT 5, 5.5. So again, when I'm creating the second node, right? and this is again saved, and when I closed it, let's see if it is saved or not. You can see it is here. So this is the beauty. Just imagine how this works, like giving a task to an intern versus giving a task to an intermediate level manager or a managerial person. They will think through it in a way that you're gonna actually use it. That's the beauty of these models. I can even delete this. So for example, if you wanna go and delete this, and if you got this sound, there was a sound here as well. When I click there, yeah, you can see there is a sound. There is a sound. That's the beauty of this. We didn't ask it to do it purposely. We didn't ask it to add the sound. So I've tested notes part, and I want to use the calculator now. So I'm using the calculator here. You can see this is working fine. I cannot see the plus button. I don't know. I cannot see. Oh, this was it. And this is a bug here. This is one of the bug that it didn't have this fully when we are opening the calculator. It is not opening full maximized screen on its own. So there is a responsiveness issue, and that is Opus 4.8. We'll see how it goes in Fable 5 in few minutes. So here we have tested calculator. There was a responsiveness issue, and we're talking about the paint, right? So I'm not sure about what is this and what is this. There is a difference. I cannot increase this also, and I can change the color. I can erase them. There was no erasing option here. Why I'm comparing back and forth, because I want to help you understand when we are talking about the capability of the model, thinking capability. This is what makes the difference, that one model is able to think through it, all the possible features required for a normal person to use it, and the other one is not. As simple as that, right? So if we go here, you can see I've erased it. I can erase it as well. I can clear it entirely. This is light. This is dark. I don't know what is that actually. So if I did this, I clicked on light. Okay. And when I clicked here, this is the ping. When I clicked on dark, okay. So you can see there is a light and dark color of the color that I'm using, and the size and bunch of other things. There is no color picker. Okay, there is a color picker as well. I pick the color and I'm pasting this. So this is a paint decently, but again, I cannot see any save option as such right now. I cannot click on these files. I'm trying to click here. It's not happening. And so I'm closing it. There is no saving option. And there's another issue in the calculator, that it was not responsive. And we talk about the song. The one important thing that I like is there was no dummy songs in the GPT. Now it is having all the dummy songs. Like play this. It is working. I can hear the sound. And when clicking the second again, I hear the sound. I can hear the sound. There are three songs. Both are working. Both the entire functions are working. There is no way for me to open and play any song from my system, that is not there. But still, the UI looks so impressive. I'm very happy about that. And now see the game. It's trying to play the game. So when I press, I can see this is a complete game in GPT. What was not there? There was no opponent in the game. Only Snake was there. And let's see if the time over is happening. You can see time over is happening. So it is a complete game. Um, it is having 3 lives. Okay, 3 best. It is also tracking the last score. So if I do this, the best should convert into 4. Yeah, the best is 4. So it is also tracking all of this data here. And for the new next person who is coming to play it, the best is being saved. That is there, right? And when we talk about the setting, there are a bunch of settings here about the wallpaper. So you can see these are the settings. And there is a slight animation in the background that is there. And I can also um, basically deactivate the sound that is here. So this is there, and it is giving me the information about the OS here, that how many apps are there, what are the things there, uptime and so on. It is giving. So this is a very like I would say, if I would rate this OS Nova created by GPT 5.5 3 out of 10, I would give it 6 or 7 out of 10, because there was still some issues here and there, but it took the amount of time it took and the amount of token it consumed almost 64% of my entire session. This was something that could be even better, but still it was like impressive, not bad. So now what we'll be doing is, we have used 2 models so far. We are going to the third model now, and we are coming to this finally, Fable 5. I will come to this, and for the same, I will again copy the same prompt and would be pasting it. Just 1 second. Yeah. So we are pasting the very same prompt. So now what we are doing is we have tested GPT 5.5 and Opus 4.8. Now it's the time for the actual, the most exciting model that we wanted to discuss, Fable 5. And what I've done is I have selected Fable 5 in the model you can see, and I pasted the exact same prompt. What it will be happening is I will be coming back to this. We have started this with an entirely a new session, and I'm pasting this here, and would be comparing all the entire thing that is being built by this model with the same way. We have seen that in GPT-5 it was very basic, not able to save the responsiveness, not there, and it was not impressive. We rated is 3 out of 10, and then we have used Opus 4.8. What we have done in that is we have rated it 5 or 6 out of 10. It was great, but there was not responsive in the calculator part, and there was also one or two things that was not great, not super crazy. So let's see what it will do and how much token will it consume. Again, we started with a new session, and we have given the prompt. So you can see the most important thing, the first very important thing, it is saying Fable is the most capable model and draws down usage 2x faster than the Opus. So whatever the amount of token Opus consumed, Fable will be using 2x amount of token. The speed will be 2x for the consumption of the token. We are not sure about the performance right now. That's why we are building this. So one important thing before I pause the recording to come back, because it will take couple of minutes. I have shown you the same file, the same skill file in this part, right? I've shown you a skill file that is being used by Anthropic when we are using Opus 4.8. It is the exact same front-end skill file. So what I want to tell you from this is that they have a default skills for all the thing that we ask them to do, irrespective of their model. So when you see this particular file in this particular exact same, that means we can expect the design or the UI of the output will be not crazy difference. The UX can be different for sure. The user experience, how it work when we click on it, how it works on hover, how it happens on click, how it happens, and so on. But in terms of look, design, color, it may not be crazy different. That is one thing that I want to tell you. And we have started with a zero new session with zero usage, and we have started this I think 2 minutes back, 10:45. So we'll see how this will go, how much token will it consume in total, and how much time it will take in total. We'll come back to this, and we'll be discussing or analyzing the output and then comparing with the previous one. Then we'll be coming back to this part where we will be basically analyzing. We'll be coming back to this part where we'll be talking about all these performance criterias which you see, these minute difference, how this will actually make sense after seeing the real output by these models. So we'll resume in a bit once this is done. I'm resuming the video now because this is ready. And before I show you the output, I want to tell you the extensive amount of planning Fable 5 had done. So you'll be able to understand when it is required more time and almost 2 times or 3 times of the token, where it is actually going and what is exactly happening behind the scene, right? So it was doing the very same thing as Opus 4.8 model that you can see here. It did all the planning, tried understanding what the user is asking for, did a rough architecture and wrote everything and talked to itself. I was telling you about the extensive planning that it was able to do before it trying to build anything. And this was done till here, about writing and thinking about this a rough plan or a skeleton. Then it wrote the first part of the HTML and spun. So basically, you might have seen or read this in the blog that I will be discussing in few minutes. That the thing that Claude or Anthropic told about this Fable model is you don't need to check it if it is going in the right direction or not, but you have to check if it is doing the right work or not. What do I mean by that is it it can do so much of work and slowly get distracted on the wrong part. Not about the I would say the direction may be the issue, but the work that is doing can be totally changed. So I'm resuming this video because um, Fable 5 have completed the part and we talk about the time. So it almost took 20 minutes, twice the time of what Opus 4.8 did, and it consumed all the credit for the session. Additionally, I have to add about $20 for it to complete the task right now for not letting me wait because it was having 30-minute time to reset, right? So it took one session plus 20 minutes to get this done. I would say it's almost took 5 or 6 times of the credit compared to the Opus 4.8 and almost 20 or 15 times when compared to GPT 5.5, right? So before we talk about the output or analyze the output with this model, what I want to talk about is the extensive planning it is done and help you understand when it is taking multiple times of token consumption and multiple times of cost, how it is happening or why it is happening. So when we talk about GPT and when we talk about Opus 4.8, they didn't do this extensive planning. GPT, we can leave it because that they directly started building it. Here it is. When we see the output, it directly started building. There was no planning done. From this part, it directly started writing the code. When we talk about Opus, it did a decent level of planning, but not extensively. And the main difference, what it was building the entire project in one go, not in chunks. But here, when you see in Fable, everything is happening in chunks. Chunk one is happened, chunk two is happened. You can see this. I'm trying to highlight this. This is chunk two. This is chunk three. This is chunk four, and so on, right? And when you see this is a very proper structured manner thing is happening. Why I'm highlighting this, because you need to understand the every time when we talk about vibe coding or building product using AI, most of the people are afraid about that AI will make the mistake, right? So this is a structure which will reduce the possibility of such fuck ups that can possibly happen when someone is trying to build something really complex and important. So this is a very structured approach. And finally, after 20 minutes, it told me that it is ready, and all the summary of the same, and I'm very excited about testing it. So let's click on this. You can see this window is opened, and which is such a nice animation, and you can see a star thing happening in the back end, and this is a quick introduction or a welcome onboarding. And it was also telling me all the instruction. Considering me as a new user, this is a very thoughtful process and a great user onboarding and experience. I clicked on begin, and the first thing that we did in all of them is right click on the same. You can see it is much similar to Opus 4.8, but let's see what differences will be there. Let's open new note. This is again a great sound, and I added something. I built this using Fable 5. So now the nice thing, I don't know if this will happen is, but it is counting the character. I can delete the note, and when I closed it, the sad part is it is not letting the new edit node save, right? That is a big red flag that it didn't notice about this. So this is one negative thing. I may not be creating this video in a way to create hype, but actual output, whatever is happening, right? So that was one drawback. And the second thing is when I'm deleting something, it's directly deleting. It's not letting the user confirm that they want to delete it. If someone is clicking it by mistake, it's gone. That is the other UI problem. And when we talk about the calculator part, if you see, this is working well. There is no problem with that. The UI is fine and it is responsive. That means if I'm going, I'm not able to do this, but if I'm going here, it is well working. This should not overlap, but it is much better than Opus 4.8. When we talk about paint, I'm creating the paint. Um, I can pick the color. I can increase the size. There is no way I can save it. So it is very much similar to Opus 4.8. No difference at all. When we talk about the music, the UI is slightly better for sure. I can hear the sound. This is also working. That is again very much same. No difference. Even if we do this, this is the same UI problem that we had. And when we talk about the snake game, right? Let's see how this is. This is also looks very same. It is counting the best. So this is a little harder game, I would say, because the opponent is moving, which was not moving in the other one. So this is the score. This is slightly different game because when I'm playing this, something else is happening. I closed it. I open it again and let's see if the game over is happening. So yes, game over is happening. This is done. And when we talk about the settings, so this is the basic setting. Can I change the background? I can change the background, but I cannot select it from myself. I need to randomly change it. So if I would rate it considering the amount of time and token it consumed comparing to Opus 4.8, I would be rating it less than Opus 4.8 because it consumed almost twice the time and almost I think 5-7 times the actual amount, or even 20 times. I would say I'm not able to calculate that token amount, but it consumed a hell lot of tokens, including the additional $20. It didn't worth it because the output given by this model was still much better. If we talk about the output that it gave was much better. I don't know where I missed the screen. Just 1 second. This was Fable. And if I go back to the chat, if I open this, yeah. So if I see this part, so when I'm on this screen, when I compare this particular part, the NovaOS built by Fable 5 versus what is being built by Opus 4.8, this is much better because I need to consider it in an overall reference, not just about the quality of the output. Even that is not great. So that is very honest real-time building of a same application across all days, and that is considered a very decently hard application because it required approximately 1500 to 2000 lines of code in a one go, in a single prompt, and that required very thorough thinking. So I spent around 8 hours so far from the time it got released, and I tried building different things, a CRM, a fake operating system that we did in the video as well, a LMS, a 3D graphic view of a flight snake game. So it was very different from what is being shown on the internet to create the hype. I'm being very honest, and I want to tell you this because that is what made me excited about trying this. But it didn't worth the time actually. So we have seen the time required for each of these model, right? When we talk about GPT-5, it was like less than a minute. When we talk about Opus to especially build this, it was about 12 minutes and it was about 20 minutes. Then token usage for building all of these projects that I did is I spent around $320 in addition and 6 sessions from 3 different accounts of Pro. That is what I did. And when we talk about the costing of each of the project, this almost when we talk about the 90% of this cost is being consumed by, I would say 85 or 90% is Fable 5. To conclude this part or overall whatever we tried building or learning out of Fable 5, I want to share quick notes on the same. The first important thing is the model is never the bottleneck for 99% of the people. Why I'm saying this? Because what we wanted to ensure is the functionality of something that we are building using AI. That can be a vibe coding dashboard, a website, a animation, a AI video, a AI image, or anything like that. I'm trying to conclude this as a takeaway for you or for 99% of the people who would be watching this is the model is never the bottleneck for 95% of the people. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So if you see my screen right now, it is saying the very same thing that model is never the bottleneck for 95% of the people. What do I mean by that is, as an individual, as a professional, as an enterprise, whenever we are building anything out of AI, what we want to ensure is the functionality. Is it getting the task done? Is it ensuring the outcome? Is the work is getting done? Not much about the UX or UI. Majorly, I'm talking about 95% of the people, not 100%. And when we are saying this, when you compare these two model with respect to the cost, timing, and the resources it is consuming, this particular model is consuming is crazy high compared to this model. So if you try to compare this, if O- Opus 4.8 model is giving you a output of 10, 7 out of 10, this is giving you 8 out of 10. That difference is very huge when you are playing on a very larger level, but not crazy high. If you're trying to make a side income, sell AI automation, trying to learn AI, build automation and all these things, there is one big difference. So all these values will matter. If your context is huge, then it will make a lot of sense and you will be able to deeply understand the value of this model, but not at the a smaller or intermediate level. That is one very important learning I had. The second important learning is I tried to visualize the same by a very simple scroll bar. If you see, if you are on a personal level, Opus 4.8 is perfect. Even if you're building complex automation, it is perfect. But you should think about Fable as a possibility for you when your complex automation or huge context code base is failing with Opus 4.8, then you can think about this. And here, this somewhere will fall on a very extreme side. This is where Fable 5 will earn it, because considering the resources it is using, especially the token and the cost. And just to close this, if you when I'm ending the video, this is a real comparison metric, right? If your session token burns this much and all of these stuff, you take the screenshot of this will make things very, very clear comparing Opus 4.8 and Fable 5. Approx token cost is this much and it is almost 5 times. When we talk about the complex session token burn, it is 50 to 150k. It is again 10 to 15 times. Daily automation at 20, hundreds and dozens. So you can see at $20 a month, you can do hundreds of automation, and here you can do about 12. And when we talk about this a little more, email, review docs, and everything is perfect. This is like you are using a sword to cut your knife. This is something like that. This will struggle at a place where you are giving it 100,000, 400,000 um, size of code, lines of code, but here it will take it easily. So this is like a very high level enterprise and usage for this. So hope this entirely helped you. And the last thing that I want to tell you when I'm ending this video is, if you spend 60 minutes with Fable 5 instead of borrowing all the knowledge that you are doing through YouTube, X, Reddit, or all the places, you'll be able to get a very experiential feel about this. That why this hype doesn't worth your time. Instead, you should learn something useful out of all this. So thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you learned something new, and yeah, have a great day.